Earlier today, I fasted my normal 16 hours. And one thing I particularly like about fasting, especially when I go out and I'm fasting, is that when all seems to be out of my control, right? Whether there's a COVID lockdown, people who annoy me on the highway, or sometimes I go somewhere to, well, obviously not when I'm fasting, but other times I've gone out to look for foods that I'm craving and the store is sold out, or something happens between the home and the store. And when I'm fasting, those things seem a whole lot more tolerable. A couple days ago, I was competing. It was online, obviously, at the Computer Olympiad, and we were competing in this game of dots and boxes. And I wasn't fasting at that time. I wish I had, because these kind of events can be especially challenging for me. But so I run my program that I wrote for dots and boxes in AI, and my opponent runs his, and we're supposed to enter our moves from one program to the next, right? To see who has the better AI. And unfortunately, my opponent and I, we program very good AIs. We're neck and neck. We've been competing for 4 years now, and we're neck and neck in terms of who has the better AI. But our user interface could use some revamping. And neither of us can undo our moves. If we enter the wrong move, we have to start completely over again. And he and I, we both have this problem that we love to start projects. We don't love to wrap things up. And there's always something hanging, whether it be an obscure bug or bad AI, bad user interface, or just stuff like that, or even showing up to the contest sometimes. He and I always have trouble. Before this year, when we used to go somewhere, he and I would get lost exploring the city. It was in Tokyo one year, and I had a good time out in Tokyo. So we have a hard time with the finishing touches. I had that problem ever since I was a kid. Oftentimes, I would do the fun parts of the project. I couldn't wrap it up, and I would get a bad grade because nobody could read my project. I did that a lot. Especially in history class. You know, we would read about history. Let's say it's 2050 and I'm reading about 2020, and I read about all these dramatic COVID deaths, and I don't put together a story to make it readable. I used to do that a lot, and I carry that habit into my adulthood. Anyway, so I'm watching him enter this move, and I see that it's incorrect, and obviously there's a lag between the computers. I'm trying to shout at him, and before he could hear me, he entered the incorrect move. And I just get this huge surge of anger. I had to disconnect my computer because I was so frustrated that I didn't want him to see that I was frustrated. And that's what happens when I don't fast. And unfortunately, I can't fast 24 hours a day. I really wish I could. I always have this happy-go-lucky feeling when I'm fasting. See, that probably wouldn't have bothered me if I were in the middle of a fast. And unfortunately, I haven't figured out how to get that happy-go-lucky feeling 24 hours a day, right? Short of fasting 24 hours a day, and then only having a few months of life left in me, right? Short of that, I don't know what to do. And that's the unfortunate thing. It feels kind of like a little bug of fasting, right? It's so nice, except for this one bug that I haven't been able to debug, right? Anyway, I thought I'd give a little update on my intermittent fasting and some of the things I wish I could patch up about how it works. Thanks for watching.